We're looking at the 29th athlete for this year's World's Strongest Man, the former World's Strongest Man from 2020, Oleksii Novikov. Now, before we get started, we've been sent something from World's Strongest Man.
Like a child at Christmas. Ooh, we got our boxes, Lozzie, with our t-shirts, and they even sent me some. Shall we get dressed for the occasion?
We should.
Oh yes, look at us.
There we go. Now I'm ready for a comeback.
Yeah, me too. Anywho, Oleksii Novikov, Lozzie, 2020 champion, one of the best guys on the circuit in recent years.
You could talk for hours about Oleksii Novikov. He's not only competed many times, he's won multiple competitions. He's been on the podium consistently on loads of competitions. Very rare we see him off a podium. He is without question a threat for this year's World's Strongest Man. So before we get into the events, Lizzie, give us your facts and stats on Mr. Novikov.
Oleksii is returning to the World's Strongest Man for the 5th time and is hungry for his second title after winning the competition in 2020 and tying for second place on points last year in 2022's competition. He's won a total of 11 international competitions so far, with some of the most notable including World's Strongest Man, Europe's Strongest Man, the Rogue Invitational, the Strongman Classic, which he's won twice, 2 World Ultimate Strongman competitions and 2 of the Pro Arnold World Series shows. On top of that, he's 4-time Ukraine Strongest Man and has podiumed at an incredible 27 international competitions. He's the current world record holder on the 18-inch deadlift, which he set at the 2020 World Strongest Man final with a 537.5 kilo lift. He's squatted 411 kilos at the Arnold Strongman Classic, and he's still one of the younger athletes at this level at 27 years old. I threw in those big lifts because I know a lot of people
forget how strong he is.
Yeah, not strongman fans though. You'll get the the casuals. Oh yes, because it's more like CrossFit now. No, Oleksii is strong, damn it, and the numbers do not lie.
What's impressive about Oleksii is he's done well in so many competitions.
Exactly.
With so many different events being thrown at him. So he is clearly one of the best strongmen on the planet right now. You know he's going to turn up. You know he's going to be in shape.
Yes.
And every year there's a surprise with Oleksii. Like last year, the big surprise was his truck pull.
Yes.
The bus pull last
brilliant.
year. Bus pull was something we hadn't seen him do that well before in the past, and then suddenly he came and won it. So you never know with this man. He just sometimes raises that level. And the other interesting thing is he's just come second to Pavlo Kordiaka at Europe's Strongest Man.
Yeah.
And the last time he came second to Pavlo in a comp just before World's Strongest Man 2020, he went on and won World's Strongest Man. So
he doesn't like losing.
He doesn't. When he loses, he usually comes back a little bit better the next time. So anyway, shall we take a look at these events, see how we think he can do? So we're starting off with the loading, as you guys will know by now, and this is a great event for Oleksii.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. He was second on the load and push at Europe's just a couple of weeks ago. He won the loading in his group last year, and one of his favourite loading performances for me was at the Wush Strength Island in Bahrain, when a lot of guys really struggled with the awkwardness of the platforms, and it was a 15-man lineup, and Oleksii won it there too.
Yeah, rapidly fast, smart, figures things out. Its loading is normally a very good event for him.
Have you noticed as well, he touches everything. I think he's really superstitious. He always touches things, like he blesses them or something, I don't know.
So deadlift is the next event, and deadlifting is something he's exceptionally good at, particularly when we are talking weird deadlifts. Non-conventional deadlifts, anything slightly higher, any type of machine. He just seems to understand physics really well, gets the most out of his body, and he wins multiple deadlift competitions. We kind of criticise how strong this guy is, but he wins the power events.
He does, and he won the deadlift in the final last year with 15 reps, which was 2 more than second place.
Wow.
Joint first with Adam Bishop at Europe's Strongest Man on the deadlift for reps, which was a conventional deadlift.
Yep.
And he holds a world record in the deadlift as well. So, yeah, he's no slouch, and he's a 1,000-pound puller.
Yeah, he's
very good at deadlift.
He's going to get big points in any group on a deadlift. Yeah. He's got a log ladder as well. Now, the log ladder, again, great event for Oleksii.
Yeah, he came second on to Pavlo again at Europe's Strongest Man. And when they had this in the final, he was third on it. And he's not known as one of the biggest log lifters. He just really suits that sort of style. A ladder or something where it becomes about technique.
Even on any type of log, he ends up scoring big points because he gets the most out of himself. He's one of those athletes that just seems to get it right on the day on these type of events. And I think we'll see the same here. You know, log ladder suits him. He's all about being quick. He's got the power to do them. Should be another great event. Cone Circle. So he just came second in his most recent Cone Circle to Pavlo Kordiaka. Pavlo absolutely obliterated the existing world record before that. Oleksii also beat the existing world record as well, but just lost out to one of the best we've ever seen. So I think as long as he avoids Pavlo Kordiaka, which I'm pretty sure he's going to, as they're both from the same nation, I think he's more than capable of beating pretty much anyone.
Yeah.
Then we have the kettlebell throw. How do you think he's going to do on this one?
This, you would probably say, is his weaker event in the group, but he's still placed anywhere between like 3rd to 5th in international competitions. He's certainly good enough. I would expect him 100% to be top 3 in his group.
I think this is, you know, looking at these events, fantastic set of events for him.
Very good.
I'd say the questionable event could be if he's in a stone off.
Yeah, but like, Oleksii's not bad at stones.
He's not bad at stones
We
at all.
have seen some weird outcomes with Oleksii on a stone, but the one time he was in the stone off, well, it was called Last Man Standing back then, in 2019, he lifted a 180 kilo stone 13 times. And like, he did a stone over bar in the Arnold's World Series, Arnold's Africa, a 220 kilo stone he did 5 times over a bar.
He's not bad at stones by any means. No. He is a little bit inconsistent.
He is inconsistent.
Compared to his other events. I actually think we haven't seen the groups yet, obviously. We don't know what the groups are yet. But I think it's going to be very hard for anyone to beat Oleksii in the groups.
I think so too. Because when I think of the guys who could beat him in a group, I don't think he'll be with them. Pavlo, possibly Mitch Hooper. They absolutely shouldn't be in a group with him. Maybe Tom Stoltman, maybe, yeah. But he won't be, he should not be in a group with any of those. Just sending my messages out there. So I see him winning the group and not having to do the stones personally. Oleksii is a fighter and he gives 100% in every event at World's Strongest Man.
Almost to his detriment.
I was going to say, last
year in the heats, a lot of athletes in some groups were able to take their foot off the gas.
Yeah.
Oleksii was fighting right to the end. Even when he could have taken his foot off the gas, he still pushed it on the wrecking ball hole. And then he went ballistic in the final to the point of he just burnt himself out with some ridiculous performances. He needs to think about that this year.
Yeah, I'm sure he will.
I'm sure he'll come in smarter from last year. He is a very intelligent guy and seems to improve in terms of strategy and understanding. And he's a big threat for this year's competition. We expect him to make the final.
100%.
What are the events in the final like for him, though? Fingers. What do you have for us on this?
We've only seen him do it once in World's Strongest Man. It was in 2021 groups. He won it in his group. I very much think of Oleksii as a bit of a Mariusz Pudzianowski. He'll look at an event that's probably not supposed to be a strength for him, and he'll find a way to become really good.
I saw some clips on YouTube of him training the Fingles finger, and he has an extremely heavy one that he's been training on at home. Deadlift for reps in the final. This is another event he could potentially win.
Yeah, he won it in the final last year. I don't see why this year would be any different. It depends who gets in there. If you get an Adam Bishop in there, Rauno,
he'll have a big battle. Very good at reps.
Yeah. But
I think there's a couple of guys that can score big points, but he because he's got so many good events, he can almost allow himself to not have to win those, the deadlift. He can be second or third. He can be second or third in a lot of events. He's not that kind of guy. He tries to win.
Have that mentality, no.
But last year he won the deadlift, and I think deadlift for reps, it's just a fantastic event for him. Yeah. So shield carry. Now, I've seen him do some average performances on the shield before. I've also seen him do some very good performances on carrying events before. Yeah. How do you think he'll do on this one? I
think he'll be absolutely fine. The bad performance we saw, I guess, was in 2021's Europe's Strongest Man, but he spoke about that recently in his post-Europe's video, and he said he got it wrong, and he knows where he went wrong with it. But when we saw him do the Husafel sandbag carry at the Rogue Invitational, he was second on that. So I think he'd be absolutely fine on his shield carry. Top 4.
So an event he's going to be going into the final as a heavy favourite for is the max dumbbell. Yes. Now, there's other great dumbbell pressers, but this is a man that's done exceptionally well in recent performances on dumbbells. I know you're going to tell us how well in a second. It's pretty mind-blowing.
Yeah, he's won the dumbbell, different types of dumbbell, ladder for reps, etc. the last 11 times he's done it in competition. He lifted a 136 kilo dumbbell at the end of a ladder at the Rogue Invitational 2021.
That is so ridiculously dominating. When you think of someone like, I don't think Tom Stoltman has won 11 Atlas Stone events in a row. You know,
I've never seen a statistic like it for one event. I'm sure there is something.
I'm sure someone like Zadrunas maybe on a log.
Mark Felix on the deadlift machine at World's Strongest Man was at about 10 or 11 until you broke it. But we digress. The really impressive thing with Oleksii is that he's done it at all these different shows. The Rogue Invitational, the Arnold Strongman Classic, the Shaw Classic. So different equipment every time.
Different dumbbells,
different scenario, different
and he still adapts and wins. He's going to be very hard to beat. I mean, I'm excited to see Kilishkovsky in there. Yeah. But Kilishkovsky's coming back from injury. Can he be in shape to challenge him?
He doesn't have the confidence that Oleksii does either.
Yeah, it's going to be a hard one to see many people beating him. And the interesting thing is how far can he push it? Especially by that stage of the competition. Yeah. Could be interesting. Now, an event that he tended to lose a lot of points on in the past was the truck pull. But last year, he mogged us all.
He did. Yeah, he won it.
I can remember just being sat here going absolutely crazy when I found out this result. Because it blew my mind. I was like, he can win World's Strongest Man. The only problem is he'd almost burnt himself out to do it. So, it's going to be interesting. I know he's coming in bigger than we've ever seen him before, which helps on an event like this, with good technique, good leg strength. I can't call it a weakness anymore. He won it in the final of World's Strongest Man last year. So
who knows what could happen?
Indeed. He's not looking like a bad contender with all these events this year.
He looks good. I really think we see a podium finish from Oleksii this year, definitely. And I would not be surprised at all if he won.
So the one event that maybe, gives some of the other athletes hope is going to be the Atlas Stones. Even when he won back in 2020, he only placed 4th on the Stones. And that was in a more laid back position where you had the luxury of knowing you just needed to do enough.
Yeah.
Last year he had a nightmare on the Stones. He's had some great performances in other competitions, but he has been up and down on them. They are not a guarantee like they might be for a Brian Shaw and a Tom Stoltman. I think this is still the event that makes things very, very exciting in terms of competition. I think people like Tom, people like Brian, people like Trey Mitchell will still believe he's catchable if they're in a close enough range at this point.
Yeah, definitely. And I think now, this year, it's already so much more competitive than it is just a few years ago. I think this is going to be the toughest World's Strongest Man final yet. Oh man, I can barely cope just thinking about it.
I genuinely, I feel Novikov's a threat, but I feel there's like 4, 5, 6 guys potentially that could win World's Strongest Man this year. It makes it very exciting from a fan's perspective, less so for the athletes. They are going to be nervous. They're going to be, thinking, but you have to go there and perform, and you've got to focus on your own performance, and that's what I'm sure Oleksii Novikov will do. So there you have it, guys. Very good events in the heats for Oleksii. I believe he will win his group. Yeah. The final, I think he is definitely top 3 material.
Definitely.
Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think Oleksii can make another podium? Can he win a second World's Strongest Man title? Hope you guys enjoyed the video. We'll catch you next time. Stay strong.